There are plenty of great truly wireless earbuds to choose from out there, but the premium ANC earbud market is really starting to heat up. First, we got the Sony WF-1000XM3s, then we got the AirPods Pro. Shortly after, we got the Sennheiser Momentum 2s, and after a few delays and a name change, we finally got the Bose QC earbuds. Now, there are more ANC earbuds hitting the market, but these are the most popular ones. So, if you're thinking about picking up any of these earbuds, let's see which one's right for you. Now, when it comes to price, the Sony WF-1000XM3s are the most affordable ones here. But they're also the oldest ones here. They have a retail price of $230, but they routinely like to go on sale for $178 these days. The AirPods Pro have a retail price of $250, the Bose QC earbuds have a retail price of $280, and then there are the Sennheiser Momentum 2s, which have a retail price of $300. Now, if you want to pick any of these earbuds up, there will be a link down below. And if you want to learn more about any of these earbuds, please watch their full reviews because we're only going to be going over their main differences. Now, as with any pair of truly wireless earbuds, for me, the first thing we've got to look at is case. Now, plainly said, the AirPods Pro have the smallest and most convenient case here. This case is tiny, it slips in and out of your pocket super easily, and you barely even notice it when you've got it in your pocket. And for comparison's sake, this case is just a little larger than the AirPods case and Galaxy Buds Live case. Whereas with all of these other cases, they are a little larger. For me, the Momentum 2's case is the largest that I'll go and say is acceptable. But Sony's and Bose's case are just way too big to be acceptable. Both of these cases have a huge footprint and they are significantly thicker than the AirPods Pro's case, so they are super noticeable when you've got them in your pocket. Now granted, I will admit that the Momentum 2's case is just as thick as the Bose QC earbuds case, but its saving characteristic here is its smaller footprint. But personally, I do think Sennheiser knows that they have to shrink their case down, and I do have high hopes for the future Momentum 3s, because the Momentum 2 earbuds actually fit inside the new CX400BT's case, which is significantly smaller. But nonetheless, when it comes to case, the AirPods Pro are the clear winners here. Sennheiser just manages to skate by, but Bose and Sony, get your act together because these cases are just way too big for 2020. However, the Sonys do manage to justify their rather large case by having a combined battery life of 32 hours if you use them with their active noise cancellation turned off. And with their active noise cancellation turned on, these earbuds have a combined battery life of 24 hours. The Sennheisers also somewhat justify their rather large case by having a combined battery life of 28 hours, and the AirPods Pro are sitting pretty at a combined battery life of 24 hours. But unfortunately, the Bose QC earbuds do not justify this large case by having a combined battery life of just 18 hours. Now, Bose's case does have wireless charging, which is something the Sonys and Sennheisers don't have, but the AirPods Pro also have wireless charging, all while having a significantly smaller case. So overall, the Bose QC earbuds are really lacking when it comes to combined battery life and case size ratio. Whereas all of these other earbuds have acceptable combined battery lives for earbuds in 2020. But hands down, the AirPods Pro do have the most convenient case here for everyday carry. But now let's talk about fit, because all of these earbuds fit very differently. Now, I actually feel the Bose are the best fitting earbuds here, and you can actually wear these earbuds for hours on end without any problems. Now, these earbuds don't actually go into your ear canals all that much, they just rest right outside of it. So, these are a great option for people who aren't the biggest fans of in-ear earbuds for long use sessions, like me. And thanks to their very large curtains, they still do a really good job of creating a seal and blocking out ambient noise. And thanks to their built-in ear fins, these earbuds stay in place very well after you've put them in. You barely have to go back and readjust these earbuds, which is something you constantly have to do with the AirPods Pro. Now, the AirPods Pro are in-ear earbuds, but they don't actually go into your ear canals super deep. They just rest right outside of it, so they're very shallow. But since they're so shallow, they do constantly like to wiggle out, so you do have to constantly go back and push them back in. But again, these are a little more comfortable than your typical in-ear earbuds. Now, the Momentum 2s fit like your typical pair of in-ear earbuds. They go into your ear canals a decent amount, unlike the AirPods Pro, but unlike the AirPods Pro, they don't wiggle out as much. So these do a better job of staying in place. Now, you can wear these for long periods of time, but for me, they do get itchy after a while. But that's the case for me with any pair of in-ear earbuds. But other than that, the Momentum 2s fits very well. But then there are the Sonys. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of how the Sonys fit, specifically because these earbuds go in super deep into your ear canal, which just feels very unnatural. But overall, when it comes to fit, I do feel the Bose are the most comfortable earbuds here, followed by the AirPods Pro, Sennheisers, and then the Sonys. But cosmetically, I do gotta point out that these earbuds are huge. When I look at the Bose QC earbuds, I'm reminded of those huge Bluetooths from the 2000s. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, both the AirPods Pro and Sony's have earbuds where each earbud actually establishes a connection with your phone. So if you just want to use one earbud at a time, you can use either one, it doesn't matter. And this is the connection type that we like to see these days. Whereas both the Sennheisers and Bose are using a Hero and Sidekick setup. So one earbud, the Hero earbud, in this case the right earbud, actually establishes a connection with your phone and then relays that connection over to the left earbud. So if you just want to use one earbud at a time, you gotta use the correct earbud, or in this case, the right earbud. But more importantly, when it comes to watching movies or videos on your phone, all of these earbuds have zero latency across the board, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device, which is always great. But when it comes to audio codecs, the AirPods Pro, Bose QC earbuds, and Sony's are all just using SBC and AAC, whereas the Sennheisers have support for SBC, AAC, and aptX. But now let's talk about listening to music with these earbuds. Plainly said, if you're trying to decide between any of these earbuds and sound is your main priority, then the AirPods Pro are the last ones you want to go with. When compared to all of these other earbuds, the AirPods Pro sound super narrow and their bass doesn't resonate anywhere near as much as these other earbuds. And since these earbuds do like to put an emphasis on the mids, they are a little vocals forward. Now, don't get me wrong, they get the job done, but they don't sound anywhere near as good as these other earbuds. Personally, for me, I only use the AirPods Pro to watch videos or listen to podcasts with. But then, there are the Bose QC earbuds, and I feel these are a step up from the AirPods Pro. Just like the AirPods Pro, the Bose QC earbuds do like to put an emphasis on the mids, but these are even a little more vocals forward than the AirPods. But unlike the AirPods, the Bose are a little more open and the bass on these earbuds does resonate a good amount. But unfortunately, unlike the Sonys or Sennheisers, the Bose don't have an adjustable EQ. You're stuck with the stock EQ Bose gives you. Now, personally, I do think that it would behoove Bose to add an adjustable EQ to their earbuds because they recently added an adjustable EQ to their Bose NC700s. Personally, for me, I just want to dial the mids back on these earbuds. But next up, there's the Sony WF-1000XM3s, and this is where things start to get serious. Performance-wise, these earbuds have much better instrument separation and a much wider soundstage than both the AirPods Pro and Bose QC earbuds. So, the Sonys sound much more open, and the bass on the Sonys resonates more than the bass on the Bose. And unlike the Bose, the Sonys have a fully customizable EQ, so you can make them sound however you want. If you want a vocals forward sound signature like the AirPods Pro or Bose on the Sonys, you can do that. Or if you want a more bass heavy EQ, then you can also do that. Or if you just want a balanced sound signature, then you can always just use Sony's stock EQ. With the Sonys, you're not just getting better sound quality, you're also getting a lot more freedom to choose. But finally, there are the Sennheiser Momentum 2s, and these earbuds kick it up a notch. Like I've mentioned in the past, these are my favorite sounding earbuds. These earbuds have the best instrument separation and widest soundstage here, so they sound the most open. But what really makes these earbuds stand out is that they have the cleanest and deepest resonating bass here, so these earbuds can actually induce goosebumps. Now personally, I just use these earbuds with their stock EQ because their stock EQ is very balanced with well-defined mids and hard-hitting bass. But if you want, you can always customize the EQ on these earbuds to your liking. And I'm just saying, if you're someone that really likes bass in their music, then these earbuds can deliver more bass than the Sonys. And sound quality aside, the Sennheisers also have the best media controls here. Straight from the earbuds themselves, you can play or pause your music, you can skip a track, you can go back a track, you can cycle between active noise cancellation and your ambient mode, and you can even raise or lower the volume all by just pressing and holding on either earbud. Now, the Sonys also have really good media controls, and you can do almost everything the Sennheisers can, except you can't adjust your volume from the earbuds themselves. If you want to be able to adjust the volume with these earbuds, you're either going to have to sacrifice your playback media controls or your ambient sound controls. Whereas by comparison, both the Bose QC earbuds and AirPods Pro do have fairly limited media controls. But if you're an iPhone user, having always listening Siri on the AirPods Pro does offset their limited media controls. Because with the AirPods Pro, you can just be like, hey, call so-and-so or send out so-and-so text, and boom, it's done. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these earbuds. Now, I do feel comfortable saying that the Bose QC earbuds do block out the most amount of noise here. And when it comes to ranking, it would go Bose, Sennheiser, AirPods Pro, and in last place would be Sony. Now, the Bose aren't blocking out a lot more noise than the Sennheisers or AirPods Pro, which are neck and neck, but they do block out a little more noise. Now, I do want to taper expectations here. None of these earbuds are going to block out nearly as much noise as a proper pair of over-ear ANC headphones, like either the Bose NC700s or Sony 1000XM4s. But the Bose QC earbuds do block out an impressive amount of noise for earbuds. However, I do gotta point out that these earbuds do have a little more cavern pressure than all of these other earbuds, and on occasion, they did make me feel a little nauseous, which hasn't been a problem with any of these other earbuds. But like I mentioned in the past, I only use the active noise cancellation on any of my earbuds when I have to. And what's really important to me is a decent ambient mode. Now, for the most part, all of these earbuds have a decent ambient mode that sounds very natural with zero hissing in the background, except for the Bose, which do like to develop a slight hissing in the background if you raise their ambient mode too high. Ultimately, we're just splitting hairs here, but these are premium ANC earbuds, so I gotta point it out. But when it comes to blocking out wind noise when walking outdoors, all of these microphone arrays do a really good job of blocking out wind noise. But the AirPods Pro do the best job here of rejecting wind noise. In situations where you might get hit by a gust of wind with any of these other earbuds, they'll actually pick up that wind noise. In that same scenario, the AirPods Pro will actually still reject it. I don't know, personally I just find that to be rather impressive. But finally, here's the microphone test. Now, all of these earbuds do have varying degrees of performance, but I do think that the Sonys have the worst performing microphone here. Now, in a quiet room, my voice does sound good enough for like a quick phone call, and thankfully, this microphone doesn't have a lot of amplification to it. But my voice does sound rather muffled and hollow. The Bose also don't have too much amplification to them, but they do sound a little cooler. I think the AirPods Pro sound good, but they do have a little bit more of amplification to them. And then there are the Sennheisers, which have the most amplification here, but I still think they sound pretty good for phone calls. But when it comes to blocking out chatter, this is an area where both the AirPods Pro and both QC earbuds do struggle. With both of these earbuds, you can clearly hear a lot of chatter in the background. Whereas with the Sennheisers, they do a decent job of blocking out chatter, given at how much they do like to amplify your voice. And when it comes to blocking out chatter with the Sonys, my voice is just super jumbled up with all of the chatter in the background. So, I really wouldn't take phone calls with these earbuds in a noisy environment. But just for comparison's sake, these are the Galaxy Buds Live, and these do a much better job of blocking out chatter. Because if we were to switch over to my lapel microphone, you're going to clearly hear all of this chatter. But if we were to switch back over to the Galaxy Buds Live, it is greatly reduced. But with all that being said, if you're trying to choose between any of these earbuds, for me, it really boils down to two options. If you're an iPhone user looking for maximum convenience, then the obvious choice are the AirPods Pro. The AirPods Pro have the smallest and most convenient case here with a combined battery life of 24 hours and wireless charging. They have the best ambient mode here, and having always listening Siri just makes it super easy to place calls, send out texts, and more with just your voice. And the active noise cancellation on these earbuds is also good. However, these pale in comparison when it comes to sound quality. So for me, I just use these earbuds for watching videos, listening to podcasts, or to take phone calls with. But these are my go-to earbuds for when I'm running errands. But if your main concern here is sound, then you gotta go with the Sennheiser Momentum 2s. These earbuds truly sound amazing because of just how open they sound and super deep resonating bass. These earbuds sound so good they can actually be a viable alternative to a pair of over-ear headphones. And when it comes to active noise cancellation, these earbuds do manage to block out a little more noise than the AirPods Pro. But I'm going to mostly attribute that to the Momentum 2's better seal. Now, even though I do prefer to run errands with the AirPods Pro because of their smaller case, you can absolutely still take the Momentum 2s on the go with you. But then, there are the Bose QC earbuds and Sony WF-1000XM3s. Even though the Bose QC earbuds are the best fitting earbuds here and they do manage to block out the most amount of noise here, it's not a huge difference from the Momentum 2s or AirPods Pro. And it's certainly not a big enough performance difference to compel me to compromise on the Bose QC earbuds' huge case. And given that the Bose have a combined battery life of 18 hours, that's just unacceptable for a case of this size these days. When it comes to earbuds, I'm looking for maximum convenience, and case size and battery life plays a big role in that. But then, there are the Sony WF-1000XM3s. Even though this case is rather large, they do help justify it by having up to a combined battery life of 32 hours. Even though they block out the least amount of noise here, at least they have a very good ambient mode, which I feel is more important. And these earbuds also sound much better than both the AirPods Pro and Bose QC earbuds. So even though these wouldn't be my first pick, if you're on a budget and you can get them on sale for $178, I say, why not? If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.